The top story is the new message and a stern warning from one of the biggest parents magazines in the world about how everybody should keep their young boys away from the red pill content. And this article that I looked at, essentially, if you look into it, is full of nothing but lies over lies over lies about what the red pill content is, sometimes even equating it with a white supremacy, which would be a surprise to everybody in this community. And I will go over this article one by one, don't worry. But I was starting to wonder as I was reading it, why in the world would you not want our next generation of boys to grow up to be protectors, providers, strong men who can run this country, who have self respect, who want to make something out of themselves, who have high standards for the women they're going to marry and have children for the next generation with? And I started to wonder, who the hell runs this magazine? So I looked it up. VP of and General Manager, a woman. Editorial Director, a woman. Associate Editorial Director, a woman. Senior Editor, a woman. A woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, more women, including the entire expert review board, which actually had balls to claim that they are made up of a diverse group of all women. So I started thinking, wow, so nothing but women run this magazine. And I guess if you're a modern woman who is an executive and enjoying this world where men are second class citizens and are always ready to simp for you, and you can always accuse them of anything that they've never done and have no punishment for it to have them go away. And why wouldn't you want that type of a world for your daughters in return? That sounds very nice. Genius, actually. It all makes sense. But now let's go over the actual article because there's tons of things that we should look into. Um, Now, for those of you who just for some reason just wandered into this channel and saying, well, what is a red pill movement? I will explain this very easily. There are two things that red pill movement does. One, it encourages men to be better every day, be healthier, be fitter, make more money, be better men, don't have bad habits, go to the gym. But it also teaches men that the world that they're living in is not exactly a perfect world for men. Men are disposable, men are second class citizens. And women, the modern women nowadays, have such high demands and have so little to offer that men need to have better standards for dating, more self-respect and self-esteem, and have good boundaries, which most American and Western men don't. That's the basic philosophy of the red pill movement. So let's go over and see what they say, what how they are trying to mislead their viewers about what it really is. Now, right off the bat, one of the subtitle is it allows young men to avoid accountability. No. First of all, there's no such thing as men avoiding accountability. The way the life is right now, will absolutely kick your ass if you're not going to be accountable for your actions and words. What we also teach is that you should hold women around you responsible for and accountable for their actions and words, because that, in this reality, is not a necessity at all, and women don't do it at all like they do in other countries, like here in Thailand. Women are very much held accountable for their words and actions, just like men are. Not in America. So this, as you've noticed, is already a classic gaslighting, right? When women, in order to not take accountability and responsibility for what they're about, try to gaslight men into saying that that's what you are. That's why you hear a lot of, oh, you're a narcissist, right? You're a misogynist. You know what? Who hurt you? You know, all of these things are actually true about modern women. But in order to hide that, the best strategy is just to point the finger on the other side. And this is just the classics. Now, let's dive into some of the other claims that they make. Here's one. Um, it says that the term is frequently used within online communities of cultures, particularly those associated with men's rights involuntarily celibate ideology, and white supremacy, says Dr. Pansin, right? This is a doctor. This is her job to even understand what the fuck she's talking about. And yet she's associating it with the white supremacy. Well, this Jewish guy in a pink shirt is very much surprised. And so are a lot of other influencers. You understand that the biggest influencers in the space, including Andrew Tate, are not white at all. And I have never even heard of this claim. Red pill community is about men, not about race. And it is mind-boggling that this is an actual professional who's just flat out gaslighting their audience with, of course, as always, no lack of accountability, which is hilarious. And by hilarious, I mean sad. Um, Red pill communities are explicitly sexist, right? Now, this is another classic example where women who are now sexist, right, do not like when we're pushing back on that. And so, us accusing women of being sexist actually is sexist on itself, right? It says oftentimes young men who join red pill community on spaces like Reddit and exposed to misogynistic ideas. That is also incorrect. Misogyny, and again, I don't think people writing it even understand what it is when men hate all women, but we don't. We just hate the staff of the Parents magazine, other Western women. But for example, when you come to Thailand, right here, Southeast Asia, you absolutely love women, right? I love my mom. I love my nieces. It's the claim that we hate all women is just so fucking pathetically. You have to know nothing about red pill movement to claim that, or you need to know you could know everything about it and then want to mislead others. So the new generation does not simp and is not a second class citizens as the current generation of men. Let's move on to the next one. It's getting better and better. Being red pill is used to describe a mindset where someone believes society is stacked against men. Correct. It is. Western societies. Not here in Thailand. I feel like a regular, normal human being, especially when it comes to dating, gender roles, and relationships. Explained Jill Murphy, another woman, because they don't hire anybody else. But she is correct. Absolutely correct. People in this online communities always claim that women are manipulative. Yes, like this article written by a woman, overly focused on money and looks. Well, that's just a fucking fact. Even here in Thailand, it's getting to be there. And that feminism and, in general, female empowerment has gone too far. This is the only part of this article that's 100% true. As a matter of fact, it should probably go into Wikipedia to define what it actually did a better job of defining what the red pill community and philosophy is than me in the beginning of the segment. Um, Next one. This is one of my favorite. They give an examples of how horrible red pill community is to women. It says a young woman who claims that she dated a man who followed the red pill ideology laid out some of the red flags in their relationships, meaning communicated something to her when he wasn't happy, in her own post. For instance, he forced to unfollow male classmates and colleagues from her Instagram page. Yeah. As a matter of fact, if a girl has so many male friends, which essentially code for a bunch of dudes who she rejected, but who are still sticking around, waiting for that moment that maybe they'll get a chance. Yeah. I mean, this is just living in reality. It is a red flag. She goes on, shamed her for going to the club with her friends. Yes, women going out in slutty outfits, getting drunk so they can get a bunch of attention from men who are going to try to fuck them is not the behavior that you want from your future wife and the mother of your children. You see what I'm saying? Parents Magazine? Absolutely deal breaker, agree. And ultimately broke up with her because he claimed she's got overweight. Now, by the way, I found this article. Here it is. This is the post from that lady. And again, they gaslight you, right? They absolutely gaslight you. Um, let me show you that. Let me show you that post. Um, it's not like he claimed that she gained weight. Uh, she claims herself, I'm overweight at the moment, but when I was dating him, I used to be in a better shape. So spare me, you pieces of shit at Parents Magazine. It's not like it's right that you even linked to that article where people can see how full of shit you are, because he didn't claim, she did. Because you know why? Again, taking accountability for your actions, something that you guys don't do at Parents Magazine. She got fucking fat, and women don't understand that their value to a man, one of the biggest value to a man, is not that you're holding an executive job at a magazine. It is that you're pretty. Your beauty and youth is your biggest value, along with giving a man a piece, which I'm sure none of the staff members of this magazine have even a clue of how to do. But yes, getting fat is going to devalue in the eye of a man, and it's essentially bait and switch, type of a scheme that we don't like from car dealerships, but somehow we're okay when women do that. Absolutely not. That is her number one job, to stay in shape. On top of that, when a woman or a man is getting fat, that means they have absolutely no discipline or self-regard for their own health. So yes, if a man who is a high value man, let's say, doesn't want any of that bullshit, he should dump this girl. In this case, he probably shouldn't have dated her in the first place. So yes, the red pill content did exactly what we want to happen. Men growing balls, men not tolerating bullshit from their girlfriends and wives, communicating it to them, drawing the boundaries, and then enforcing those boundaries. And as you can see, this article says, oh, that is horrible. Men having self-respect and standards for us, and then when we cross those boundaries, they get rid of us. Outrageous, right? This is exactly what this community is about. Get rid of those fucking women out of your life, because they are toxic and poisonous. Next one. Red pill influencers speak directly to a boy's feelings of insecurity or uncertainty. This is another classic gaslighting, that they're saying, oh, this man, they might be insecure. That's why they don't let us, fucking disrespect them, or try to get money out of them. This is another form of gaslighting. We're essentially speaking and hoping to make this man into a very much secure man. Only a secure man would say, yes, I want my self respect. I want to have boundaries. And when somebody violates them, usually a woman, I am going to take action, and get rid of that person, or at least warn that person not to do it and give them another chance. The red pill movement delivers a simple explanation for why they might feel rejected or lonely. Yeah, we do a pretty fucking good job at it, because the explanation is not that hard, because women are not that complicated. It's quite easy to understand why women do what they do now. It also gives boys a sense of power or superiority over others, especially girls. Yes, in some ways, because men are superior over women. That's why women don't do any of the most important jobs in the world, because they fucking can't. The majority of the jobs that created and maintained everything around these women writing this article has all been created and maintained by men, because women don't want to do those jobs. There are very few of them who do, and some jobs are 100% men. So absolutely, this is right on the money. Let's look at one more, okay? Because guys, I can go on and on. This article is just complete fucking a pile of garbage when it comes to really telling the truth. The last one: red pill culture offers confused young men. Again, they have to be confused. They don't know what's going on. Wow, yeah, no. Those men who follow the red pill ideology are not confused at all. This is why it's called a red pill. When trying to red pill men, is the reference is to live in reality of what's happening to them, what women are doing, and understanding how to deal with it. So they're not confused. In black and white world view, it's because women are very black and white. It is. Men are alphas or betas. Women are hyper, I don't know this word. In other words, only looking for increase their status in relationships or transactional. But right on the money. Right on the money. You just need to learn how to pronounce big words. That's all. So yeah, and guys, I can go on and on and on about this article. But at the end of the day, you know, it is it is a warning to us men that when our current, parenting is run by women, and not just because this magazine is being run by women, right? Schools are run by women, colleges are run by women, social media networks are run by women a lot of times. By the way, I received 2 strikes on TikTok and 1 strike on YouTube on something that not at all violated their guidelines, but because of the type of content that I do, they decided that, yeah, let's try to get rid of this guy. And I'm not the first or last one which they're going to go after. So all of this, all of this kind of makes sense, except for we need to at some point have men have some control, especially strong men, not the Sims, to have control over how we're raising our boys. Because over and over and over, the statistics show that boys and young men are falling behind. We put so much money and emphasis on advancing women, even though they may not be as good as men and whatever it is that they do. That now there are more women, finishing college, getting degrees than men, more women buying houses than men. Men have been left behind, and it's not that hard to get back on the horse. We're still men. We're still much better than women at all of those things, and yet we're losing. So it's time to take responsibility and let's save the boys from this feminist bullshit. Let's raise the new generation of men as men. But is there anybody left? Is there any real men left to intervene when women are trying to raise essentially the next generation of their servants in a second class citizens? Honestly, I don't know anymore. I really don't. But the fact that the biggest parenting magazine is trying to prevent boys from essentially growing up men is a big red flag for all of us. And at some point, if we don't do anything about it, it's the game is game over. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life.